Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and whenever you watch this replay. My name is Sherry with Ratchet and we made it 100 days going live at 4:30 a.m. I am excited. Like, this is the 100 day. We did it. Granted, I missed a couple days because I was sick or we had technology issues, but overall, we did it. We went live 100 days. And so for that, before I start anything else, I want to say thank you to you for showing up, for being part of this journey with me. Um, all the videos will be posted except for the days that I missed, or that one time where I went live for 40 minutes with no sound. Love it. So if you don't get all the 100 days, it's either because I'm sick or technology issues, or Sherry's brain was not engaged and didn't check the sound. But I do want to say thank you so much for going on this journey with me for 100 days. We definitely had our ups and downs. It was definitely a struggle, but I will have a video all about that when in a couple weeks. I'm working on the script right now, and hopefully we'll be recording that soon. So, thank you for supporting me in this 100-day journey. I see here I have a comment. Good morning, Christina. Yes, huge congratulations. We made it. Woohoo! Anyway, so today, sorry. Today, we're going to talk about jelly prints. So, there's a video that I have. I'll post a link below in the description. There's a video I have. It's called Organizing Your Jelly Prints. And that's an overview video. And so today we'll kind of go over looking at your jelly prints, because when you're starting for the first time, or some days you just have an off day, it doesn't matter. It happens where you'll produce a jelly print that is ugly, right? It's so ugly. I call it my bad news bears print. Like, it's bad news, dude. Not much is going to save this print. It is what it is. But you'd be surprised. I like those prints. Yeah, there are different things that we can do with those prints to make them better prints. Now, there's prints that I call GOAT, greatest of all time prints. And surprisingly enough, those are the prints I don't want to cut up or I don't want to use them. So, you would think that your greatest of all time prints would be the ones that you use the most. And maybe some people will. I just have a hard time of letting those go because they're kind of like artwork in themselves. But my bad news bear prints or my diamonds in the rough prints, well, bad news bear prints typically get used, and there's different ways you can level those up or ratchet those up. No pun intended. Um, but the diamonds in the rough print maybe needs just a little bit something, and they kind of sit on the fence. They could go really ugly really fast by that one thing, or they could be the greatest of all time and go in the other direction. But regardless, those are the prints we're going to talk about today. Now, a good print, what makes a good print or what makes a bad print is usually in the eye of the beholder. But there are a few nuances that you can, and I'll point those out today, that maybe makes this an ugly print to one person, but it may be a good print to another. Anyway, I'll be creating a video series on Critique My Prints where I will invite you to submit your prints to me. And I promise you, this is nothing but encouragement and positivity and constructive feedback, positive constructive feedback. So if you are really struggling with how to make your prints better, email me below. Email me the link or the email. Oh wow, email is in the description below. Take a couple pictures of your prints. I'll take a look at them. I'll give you some constructive feedback, and if you want private constructive feedback, I can do that. Or if you want to be part of my video series and you just want to remain anonymous, let me know that as well. And I will give you I'll record a constructive feedback. So I want to do a video series on Critique My Prints. So send me those prints, and I'll be glad to keep your name anonymous, or if you don't care and you just want me to do it with your name, I can do that too. Or if you don't want your my critique, you know, out there in a video, I will be glad to talk about it privately and send you back a video on that. So, you tell me what you want to do. I'm flexible, but I do want to do a video on critique my prints. So, with that, let's talk about something else. So, we got Craft Showdown coming on Friday, June 20th with Eileen Hall and Kara Brandon Creations. And I am so excited. Okay. Christina, were you able to see me okay? Do you know? Okay. Anyway, something went on over here on my side of the world with technology, and we were talking about that. So I'm just looking for confirmation. But okay. Anyway, I'm gonna drive on. Okay, cool. I'm back now. Woo. Don't know where we left off, but I'm excited about my collaboration with Craft Showdown June 20th. Um with Eileen Hall and Kara Brandon Creations. I don't know if you heard all that or not, but anyway, we're going to talk about a few of those things. Um, the Craft Showdown is going to have a little bit of tweak to it. We're going to be focused on a certain product by Eileen Hall. So let's take a look at that. And yeah, hold on. There's something else too I want to show you. Okay. All right. We're going to talk all about Craft Showdown for a minute. Okay. So Eileen Hall has these thinlets and the stamp set, as well as the layered stencils. And so we, Karen, I, and Eileen are going to be using these as part of the Craft Showdown Live. And I have to say, I usually buy Sizzix for Tim Holtz. I've never bought the Sizzix stamps before, or their stencils. And I was impressed on how they packaged them. Like, these are cool packaging for Sizzix. So, if you want to play along with us, and you have these stamps, die cuts, whatever, I mean, yeah, stamps, die cuts, and stencils, feel free to play along with us. There are a couple other things. So Kara Brandon Creation has, and I'm going to put this all in the links below. Kara Brandon Creation has a set of palette kits, downloadable digitals that she has, and that you can download as well, because those will be part of the Craft Showdown Live. And then I am going to have a set of jelly prints. I got 2 that you can download for free. I'll put the links below in the description, but this is the teal and this is the pink. And so you can download those for free. And play along, but I will have the other colors up later today for sale if you're interested in getting all the colors. What I'll do is I'll add the 2 freebies into the big giant package. So or you can download these 2 freebies. It's up to you. But all the colors will be there on my website. Links will be below. And what we're looking for is, if you're going to play along, because we're trying to do something different on Craft Showdown. If you're going to play along, we would like for you, if you feel inclined, to join our free community on Craft Showdown. It's free for a limited time. We haven't worked out the details of when it's going to be closed. So, if you go back in there about a month or 2, it might be closed. So, but we'll see. But right now, you can join our community and post your pictures, and we'll be glad to show them before the next live. So we definitely want to share that with everybody, like your work. And so join the community, post your pictures of the makes you make during the 2 10-minute challenges and the 1 20-minute challenge. And, you know, we'll be glad to showcase that. Any case. So that's what's going on this Friday and all the things that we're going to do for Craft Showdown. Now, let's talk about some bad news bear prints. So this one is not one of, oh, wow. Okay, hard for you to see. It's because of the glare. And sometimes I use shiny paint and it does not like the camera very well. So just 1 second. Okay. Try to get rid of that for you. All right. So this here is one of what I would call a bad news bear print. Why do I call it that? I have to say it looks better on camera than it does on my print here. But anyway, so the colors aren't the problem. It's the design or the texture, the pattern, and how it looks. Now, I am not sure if this was a roll-off print. It's definitely on copy paper. That doesn't bother me, but I just don't like it. And again, I said that the bad news bear prints are from the eye of the beholder. Would this make a great background for a collage? Yes. You could use that for this, right? Could this make a great background for, like, for example, this for this card? I mean, not this card, but you could kind of see how I had the blue back here, like it's double layered. Yes, it can make a great background for a card. And that's why I don't really get rid of my bad news bears. And would I level this up or do something, a technique on here that I'm going to show a little bit later? No, I would probably use this as a background for a collage that we've been doing for the 100 days, or a background for a card or some other art project, but it would be a background. The reason why I don't consider it kind of a bad news bear print is because I just don't like this. It's really hard to describe. I really just don't like how it looks. It's not a print to me. It's a background, but it's not a good background. Like the colors aren't really popping, the contrast isn't really there, and it just looks like a giant muddled mess, I would say. Now, could you go in with another color and a stencil? Maybe. Would it add to it? Probably. But for this one, I would keep it just like it is. It's still considered in my book a bad news bear print because it could go wrong real quick, especially if you don't use the right colors to enhance this print. So I would leave this one. Now, here's some other examples. So this one right here. This one I was doing an image. I can tell you this. I was doing an image transfer with this thing to see if it'd work. This is not a good print, obviously, right? Because it's got black all over it. What are we going to do with that? Well, today we're going to work on that and see what we can do to make this a little different. But the key here is you're going to need opaque paint because this is black, and whatever you use needs to go on top of it, needs to be opaque, not semi-transparent, not transparent. You need opaque paint. So we'll play with this one a little bit here in a minute. All right, let's look at some other things here. Oh, I didn't show you these other ones. Okay, so these were all made with bad news bear prints, right? So this card was made with a bad news bear print, and I think they were showcased in my video that I'm going to link below in the description. Here is a bad news bear print. There's a couple of them on here on this one. And then here's another bad news bear print. So we took some of those. I did some tissue paper. This is definitely a bad news bear print in the background. This one, not so much, and this one, not so much. But the ugly print, it's right here. It's this black and orange print. So those are what you could do. One of the things you could do with the bad news bear print. You can also make your collages with them, right? So let's see here. I know I've had some Bad News Bear prints that I put in the collages. All right. This one here. Oh, when we did this collage for the 100 day, this guy, he was a Bad News Bear print. But what is important to know about the Bad News Bear print is that you can find some good things in those. Not only can you make it a background, but you can find some areas like right here. You don't see that ugly green. I did not like the green on here, but it's only got a little places. So, you know, I just wrapped that thing. I got rid of it. But I'll show you some techniques here in a minute. Oh, here's another one. Oh, I bet y'all just didn't realize this one either. You see this guy right here? This big giant circle? That was a Bad News Bear print that I turned into a die cut. And so those Bad News Bear prints is what I will use. I will use those over my favorite prints any time of the week. All right, let's see here. Do I have... Let's see what I have in... Let me show you what a... let's see here. I'm trying to find a good example on a print that I would consider a successful print, right? So, all right, here's one. Okay. Now, to me, this is a successful print. It's the colors are pretty similar. You have this darker contrast with this lighter chartreuse contrast. Most people may not like chartreuse, but that's what I used, right? And I'm not looking at necessarily for the color here. I'm looking at from the contrast. The contrast between the dark and the lighter color green and the darker, like it's like a bluish, it's like a Payne's gray color. But what I also like about it is this pop of pink that's in here, right? And the design is very organic, right? Like you could see where a couple things. You could see the pull from the print itself and how I made this texture. And I couldn't tell you, it's been so long ago, right? But you know that there's also braille paper on here. And whatever paint I used, the viscosity was low because you got the snowflake effect. Remember, we talked about that yesterday, the snowflake effect. And I'm telling you, you don't need to season your plate. This makes an interesting texture. There's no such thing as seasoning your plate, in my opinion. This is Sherry's opinion. So, but this to me, it brings out interesting textures. Now, I can't tell you how I made that texture there because it was so long ago. Yeah, not sure how that happened. But this to me would be a print that I don't want to let go of. It's interesting to look at in the details. So that's an example of a print that I would consider a goat. You may not consider this one as a goat. I consider this one as a goat. I don't like a lot of white, right? But there's a lot of white in this one, but that's okay. It really balances out the green here. And then what other pieces I like is that I must like chartreuse apparently. I do, I have to admit. But the chartreuse color and then the blue and the purple, I mean, those are part of the same color family. Those are analogous colors. And so they go really well together. Sometimes your prints don't turn out well is when the colors don't work well together or the texture or the contrast in the colors. So that's another example of a good print. Let's see here. Do I have any other ones? Okay, so those are some decent ones that I would like to talk about. But anyway, all right, let's talk about what I would call these my diamond in the roughs. The colors are good, right? But they're kind of plain. There's not really, this is a roll off. Not really anything major here. Or I took a print. I mean, I tried to do, this is in the very beginning. I can tell you this, where I was practicing with mixing colors on the plate. And so when you're doing that practicing, you want to make sure that you've got similar colors. You don't want complementary colors that you're trying to mix on the plate. That's just going to make mud. Um, but like the blues and greens, those are very analogous colors. Here, I know where this came from. There's a video that I have on um you don't need texture plates or stencils or anything to create texture on your plate. You can use your brayer, and this is definitely from one of that brayer. What's it called? I forgot. But anyway, there's a video that I have when I first started doing making videos about gel printing. And so this is from that video, and that's years ago. And I haven't used it yet. But point being is, um, this is when I was mixing colors on the plate. Now, these are very much your plain type of prints, and that's why I call them the diamonds in the rough, because they could be successful prints. Here's a couple of them that I did with inks and sprays and some stencils and stamps. This works well for me, as far as like a print that I would call diamond in the rough. This is one that can go either way, and here's why. If you enhance this print, you might enhance it in a way that adds contrast. So maybe a blue or a darker green or more vibrant green. I don't know. But something needs to be added to it to make it what I would call a greatest of all time print. But generally, when I see prints like this that are sitting on teeter-tottering, it can go bad real fast. Because why? First of all, I have stamps on here that make a smaller pattern. I have some stencils on here, and the colors are just very jumping all over the place. The colors are very cohesive, right? They're more analogous colors, or more borderlining monochromatic colors, right? Because the yellow or the gold, the green, whatever you want to call this, is very similar to the green in here. That's why this print works. It's very similar in color. However, if I were to add something to here, knowing me and the way I work, I probably mess this up and it'd be a bad news bear print in a heartbeat. So I said, stop. It's a diamond in the rough print. I got some other stuffs in here. Okay. This here, that's a diamond in a rough print. It's very monochromatic. Like it the way it is, but it's just not the greatest of all time. I just yeah, and it's all about your opinion and how you look at your prints as well. Now this one here, I like this one a lot. It's not greatest of all time. It does not have that wow factor to me, but the contrast is great. And so that's why it's a regular print to me. I mean, a diamond in the rough print, right? I'm not going to add something to it. I know that if I add something to it, it'll just go to the opposite direction, but it's not like the print that I find that I cannot touch. Like, I'll use this in something for sure. Greats of all time prints, I typically don't cut those. Okay. Here's a plain one. Yeah, you can add a stencil to this, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but and make it better. So that's not a big deal there. What was this one? Oh yeah. This one? Yeah, that one's interesting. It's not an ugly print. It's not a bad news bear print. It's definitely a diamond in the rough. We can probably do something with this one. It's pretty solid in it, except for this big giant square. I mean, line. It's pretty solid. So let's just. Oh, it's on rice paper too. Wow, love it. Okay, so we'll play with that one, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, now let's see here. Do I have? Oh, something got mixed up in this one. Okay, ugly print. Greatest of all. I mean, bad news bear print. Let's talk about why. Why do I consider this a bad news bear print? Well, there's no cohesion here, right? It's just a giant mess. I don't know what I was doing. I was experimenting or something. Oh, I put a stencil on here, right? So you see that. That's kind of weird. And it color doesn't really go well with the rest. Then you got this gray with this blue and I mean purple and blue. So yeah, I'm just not feeling it. Like this is not a cohesion print, you know, compared to the others, right? This is just a giant mess. Um, I'm not explaining well. Okay, blue and purple, they kind of go together, right? When I put this orange on here that you can't barely see, it's a rust color. Well, you can see it better on the camera than I can see it. But this rust color, it's a complementary color to the blue, but it's on top of the purple. The other thing, you have this nice pattern design that's in here, but this gray is what I probably don't like out of this. And the randomness of the color that's on here. Um, there's no like there's no in between the blue and the purple. Like there's no blue purple that brings this together. I don't like the white that's part of it. So that's really why I don't like this print. It's probably the gray, the white, and then there's no blending of colors here. So that's probably why I don't like this one. Okay, let's see what else I have. All right. Ugly print. Bad news bear print. Whatever you want to call it. Why? Well, I got a stencil in the middle of here. It kind of gets cut off right here, right? So how could you salvage this? You could probably cut just this out right here, and that would be fine. But the fact that it went from this dark purple to this pink, or whatever color that is, red purple, again, um, the biggest thing about this is that it's cut off, and you have all this whites. There's a lot of white here. When you get over here, it's more muddy. It's more like green and black, right? So this is definitely I was probably using it as, picking up some paint off the plate, and so that's how you get your Bad News Bear prints too, is that you're using paper to, pull off something off the plate so that you can put another color down. Let's see here. Do I have any other ugly ones? No. Okay. Not ones that I wanna talk about. They're too ugly. No, I'm joking. Okay, so those are some things that you could do with your prints. Now, I know we're fixing to run out of time, and I knew we would, but we're going to do a couple of things first. When you have a print, and I'm going to put that one away. I'm going to use these two as an example. When you have a print like this one, which is Diamond in the Rough, and you want to add another color to it, I'll show you that. But we'll use this one as an ugly print and what you could do here. As well. For this one, you could do a couple things. One, I don't know, where did it go? Because I just had it. I must have moved it or something. Oh, I did. Okay. Here we go. And we'll get this one out as well. Okay. First of all, I have a bag of chipboard, right? And so these are the Dina Wakley chipboard guys that I have. And what I'm going to do is, this one would be easy to do. I'm going to just cut it down real quick because I didn't do that before. I'm going to make it 5.5 by 7 somewhat. Won't be a perfect cut, but here we are. Good enough. All right. So what you can do is you can use these chipboard pieces as a way, or you can use mask, and I don't think I have any mask in my chipboard pieces. I don't think I do. These are all these Dina Wakley chipboard shapes that I used. And, oh, here's one mask. And it's not really a mask, but we're going to use it as a mask. These are like little mylar pieces from scrapbooking. You could use, oh, here's another one. Here's another mask. Right there. That mask there. And so you could take those and you can use them as shapes that are going to come out of okay. And I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying this is going to be a great print, but I'm going to use this as an example. You got black. It's dark. You're going to need something opaque. You have to have an opaque paint. And my white is opaque. We'll see how much it covers. But the thought is you're going to put the paint down, and then you're going to put the mask down. And it's going to mask out the black. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Oh, I got a little green in my paint. No way. Not a fan of that. Oh. Okay, well, we'll clean that later. We're going to have a little bit of green in our white paint. That's disappointing. All right. Now let's put some mask down. Okay, I think this is the way I'm going to go. I don't know where my other masks are. I didn't find them in time. All right. So now we're going to take our ugly print and we're going to put it on top. And I did this on magazine because remember, this was an image transfer. So if you have those if you tried image transfers and you have a bunch of black prints, you could do this. All right. Now, that's how you can take an ugly print and do something else with it. So, obviously cut around the white, right? And so you have that particular print. Now, since I still have paint and it's still wet, I'm going to do the other one. But you definitely need to have an opaque paint for this to work, because even though we had white on here, you're still seeing the black through it, right? It's not perfect, solid color. And then what you could do is you could take whatever shape you did, whether it's chipboard or a stencil mask, right? And you could do like this one. We'll do this one next. And we'll talk about why that would be an interesting one. I should have done it on this one, but I didn't. All right. And then there's a second generation print from that. Okay. I'm just trying to get the paint up right now for our next print. Okay. Good enough. So that's one way you could do to enhance your prints, right? Is you could take a solid color, take some mask, cover up the, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this for a minute, this mask right here, this is a mask that you could use, is that the more of the negative space you have, okay, which would allow that other paint to cover up, the better the print's going to be, especially when you're doing this technique. Because, sorry, oh, wrong answer, Sherry. It's not the same technique as this. My apologies. The more negative space you have is the color that's going to end up on your paper. And so that's why you want big wide spaces. Or you do the opposite, which is what I did here. You have big blackout spaces to make the shape. And then the negative space is the paint. So it's very similar, but what I did here is the reverse. I did the big giant shape, and the paint left over was the majority of it, was what's on the paper. Here, this is more of a design, and it's big open negative spaces, but you're going to see through these little holes, you will see the background. So let me demonstrate. Okay, this is an ugly print. We got gray and blue and purple. And what we really need is an opaque paint. Of course, I don't have any opaque except for the white on my table. So just give me a minute. Okay, here's a blue. Let's see, is there another blue? Yes. Okay, I'm going to go with this darker blue to really make, for the example. Now, I got a lot of white in here. Let me roll that off because I can feel it on my brayer. Okay. It's a little bit too much paint, but that's all right. We'll figure it out. Again, this is opaque paint. I'm going to put this stencil on here. And what you're going to end up with is a bunch of circles. Do we want to do this one? We can do this one, or we can do this one. Okay, I think I'll just do this one. All right. You're going to end up with a bunch of circles on here. I'm not sure I'm going to like it after the fact, but we're going to go for it. When you're playing around with bad news bear print, as I call them, it's a hit or miss. So that's why I tend to do this technique more often than anything, and basically black out or white out the design that I don't like, and then have the designs just show up in the interesting way. This technique here is risky. This is a risky one because either it will work or it won't. It may enhance the print or it'll just make it worse. So we'll see what happens on this one. I try to use the same colors that are in the print. So this one turned out pretty good. This is where the paper's cut off. So, and yeah, you can kind of see, especially worked really well on the purple. You see how that popped right there? So if we took this off, now the print it can be what I would say bearable. There, I'll just fold it. So it's a bearable print, right? You could do something with that easily. That could easily be a background for a collage or a card. And then you have a nice print afterwards that you could use. I was looking to see if I had something that I could use with that. Yeah. We'll just let that dry because that would be a nice print after you pull it. Okay. So, any Christina, any other questions on how to level up your Bad News Bear prints or anybody that's watching for that matter? Let me know in the comments below. I will definitely be explaining that a little bit better. I can have a bigger video on that easily. But that's just the gist of it. You can use your mask, right? Or chipboard. You can use, and as you can see, I've used that before. I don't know where that red came from. I've used that technique before. You can use stencils, but you want to make sure when you use stencils, you have big, giant, wide spaces. And I was hoping, I'll show you some other examples. Here's an example. That was an ugly print and I covered it in black, right? Not sure if this was an ugly print, but that's an example of using the negative space. Oh, these are not the ugly ones. Is there any more ugly? Oh, here's one. Here's one I did. Oh, I like this one too. This one here. I took a bunch of string and twine, put that on my gel plate with the black and covered up the print behind it. And so that makes an interesting print. Do I have any other ones? Oh, here's another one. Stencils. So you see that blue and that pink and that green there. And then I took the number stencil and I took purple and covered it up. And so that became an interesting print there. So I'll tilt it so you can kind of see the colors a little bit better. Okay. So those are just some examples of how you can turn your Bad News Bear prints into something that's more usable. But if you didn't want to, again, if you didn't want to do anything that would make them more usable, you can always make cards out of them wherever my cards went. I don't know what I do with my cards, but you saw them in the beginning of the video. So you can make cards out of them. You can use them for background collages. You can die cut them. So those Bad News Bear prints, those are the ones I use most of the time. The greatest of all time prints, the goat prints, I usually don't cut those up. I like them, but just the way they are. So also don't forget, well, there you go. Don't forget if you want me to critique your print in a positive, constructive feedback way, drop me an email below. I'll be glad to critique your prints. But just remember that the person who's critiquing the print is in the eye of the beholder. So if you find something that you really don't like, it might surprise you what I think about it. It might be a positive. You may find something that you don't really like, and I might really like that print. Or I might agree with you. I'll just be honest, But sometimes when we struggle creating jelly prints, it's because something went wrong with that print and you just want to understand how to make your prints better. And I can help you with that. And if you're interested, drop me an email below, send me your prints and tell me, if you'd like it to be in my video or not. I'll be glad to showcase that in a video and talk about it. So That's a video series I want to do. It's called Critique My Prints. And if you want to be a part of that, let me know. Also, don't forget Craft Showdown Live June 20th with Eileen Hall. If I have some freebies that I will download, and I will have the whole collection of my jelly prints um, available for purchase later today. So I'm still working on that. And Kara Brandon Creations has some of her palette kits that you can also purchase. And if you happen to have the dies and stuff for Eileen, definitely, get those out. We're going to be using them on Craft Showdown. If you've not joined the community, the link will be below in the description after I end this video. And go join our community. It's free, and we would love to see your artwork in there. And it's all about encouragement. I will not tolerate any negativity in any of my communities or the Craft Showdown community, or even when I critique your gel print. There's not going to be any, oh my gosh, you're right. That is the ugliest print. I will not do that. Um, I will give you constructive feedback so you can grow. And that's all I care about is your growth and your journey. And thank you for watching the 100-day lives. I am just so happy we made it to 100 days. And so thank you for coming along with me. I really mean that. And usually I say I'll see you tomorrow, but I'm not going to see you tomorrow. So thank you for watching Ratchet Up Your Art. And please make sure you like and subscribe and comment below. It really helps with the algorithms. And if you have not seen the other 100-day lives, go check them out. Tell me what you like and what you don't like, and what you might want to see more of. But with that, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching Ratchet Up Your Art. And to the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Hope to see y'all soon. Have a great day.